Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for episode 12 of The Full Pour. I'm super excited about this one. We have the whole team together for the highly anticipated cult collaboration that is Three-Way IPA, which Fort George has started. So right now, let's get to it. Let's bring on all the brewers. Oh, here we go. We even have one more person. Look at that. Okay. Most of you all have that says who you are, but let's kind of cruise around real quick and let us know a little bit about yourself in the brewery. Let's start with Fort George, since you guys are really the ones that are kind of kicking this off and spearheading this.
I'm Mike. We've both been here from roughly 7 to 10 years, brewing on the small side, big side, and everything in between. What was that? Yeah, we almost kind of started with this place and really took it on before it became the Pacific Northwest Brewery, when it was just an Astoria brewery, and kind of hailed from different parts of the country. I'm from Chicago, and he's from?
I moved up from Southern California. Don't hold it against me.
Awesome.
He's from Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, let's bring on Structures Brewing here. Ooh, I keep canceling them, but here we go. There we go. Hey there. Tell us a little bit. Are you probably one of the newer breweries with the three of the collaboration?
Yeah, we opened 5 years ago, December of 2015, and yeah, we're just kind of we're growing really small, really slow, and yeah, it's been nice up here in Bellingham.
In Bellingham, that's where Structures is based out of.
Yep.
Awesome.
Bellingham.
Very cool. And then we have Shane and
Hey.
from Level. Let's see if I can put you guys two together. Oh, well, I try. Anyhow, tell us a bit about Level Beer. It's based in Portland. What do you guys specialize in? What are you guys excited about?
Me or you, Jason?
You can go for it, man.
All right. Yeah, we're in Northeast Portland out at an old produce market. We specialize in kind of low ABV German and English styles, and then we do a lot of hoppy beers too. We love pale ales, and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, does everybody have a beer? Let's talk about this beer and talk about how this works out.
I got 2 beers.
I have a beer on backup. Don't worry. So I come prepared. I know how this goes and how fast I drink during these things. So, okay. So Fort George, this question is for you because you guys started this Three-Way. I think the first one came out in 2013. How do you guys go about selecting what breweries you work with? So do you start with like a style of IPA that you think you want to do that year and then kind of seek out the breweries based on that? Or do you seek out the breweries first and then really collaborate on, what style IPA you want to do?
I think we just start by drinking a lot of beer, and then whatever pops up to us kind of goes from there. There's no guidelines when it comes to what we want to make. It's mostly finding a brewery and friends that we want to participate with and reaching out and making magic happen.
So I'm assuming that a lot of breweries reach out to you guys too.
A lot of breweries will definitely heavily hint that they'd love to be a part of the project, which is awesome that the beer and the brand is so well received. But yeah, there's no real structure for how we choose the brewery. It's all I know. For how we choose the brewery, it's always like
keep it level.
What kind of beer we admire. There's a whole lot of reasons and factors that go into picking the beer or the breweries we want to work with.
Right. And then I'm going to bring everybody back on because I really kind of, want to tell our viewers and everything, what's the process when you do a collab with 2 other breweries? Like, how does that work? Where is it brewed? How, who has the final say, most importantly?
Do you guys want to talk about tonight?
I mean,
Yeah, it starts with
we
starts with a lot.
process. They send a lot of samples to all of us, and they had talked about in years past, wanting other breweries to kind of participate and brew some themselves. So we did a couple of batches at our place and tried to be as helpful in the process as we could. And we really enjoyed the, just sending emails back and forth and sending samples back and forth and having everybody try stuff and give feedback. And we thought it was a really fun process.
So did you guys all go to Fort George to actually be part of the brewing process, or were you guys kind of like sending samples back and forth and,
It was sending samples back and forth. Yeah.
We all went down there in was the beginning of December, and Chris, Dave, Michael, everybody just put us up, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, just talking about the recipe and drinking and coming up with ideas. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this collab's very different than a lot of others, where normally you kind of email back and forth or text back and forth about what you're going to do, and then you meet up the day of for the brew day, and then you go out and get drunk.
sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But this one, we almost do the reverse order, where we have a big party and hang out, eat a whole bunch and drink a whole bunch, and get to know each other pretty well. And then the next day we have a roundtable discussion of what kind of ingredients and processes we want to use. And then we do most of the brewing by ourselves over here, and then send out samples of the test batch. So different than other collabs where they're not there and present for the brew day, but every bit as much as part of the process.
Also a little different of a year. Couldn't really just have people over casually.
Right. Yeah. Made it a bit tough to do that. Yeah. We felt we did a recent collaboration with Single Hill and Zeke's Pizza, and we had like all these plans of going over there and being part of the brewing process and like taking video and like all these wonderful, great things that all just got halted. So that was kind of a bummer, but it was a cool and fun process to be part of. So
yeah, one of the fun parts about three-way normally is once all the beer is done and we kind of came up with the recipe and brewed the way we wanted it to, we go to each person's city and throw parties just so we could hear people's feedback right off the cuff and just have fun with each other. And it's kind of a bummer not to be able to do that this year. I really wanted to go out to Portland and Bellingham after 2 months of sitting at home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we all want to get out.
Everybody wants to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why Shane and I are in 2 different places right now.
Yeah.
We're each at one location trying to get them open for tomorrow. So.
Yeah, no kidding. We're opening tomorrow, guys.
You are? Yay! Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get to stay open for a while. Yeah. It's sad, like seeing all of these breweries make these, like adjustments and precautions and like new seating and new outdoor and like spending a considerable amount of money and, to open up and then kind of, have to maybe shut back down again is pretty devastating. And in fact, that is one of the things I wanted to ask each of you guys. I know that at Fort George, you guys are open at what capacity?
So our upstairs normally can handle like 100 and something people, and I think we have it limited down to like 14 tables. So maybe 50 people or 40 people could be there at any time, and it's reservation only. So it's not like it's just jam packed the whole time. We try to make sure people are coming in and out in a good swing of things, so it's not as much interaction.
How about in Level? You said you're opening tomorrow. Like, what are the restrictions that you guys are working with?
I guess so. Multnomah County enters phase 1 tomorrow. So we've only been able to do to-go beer up so far. Starting tomorrow, we can actually have customers back. The tables have to be 6 feet apart. Luckily at our main brewery, we're on 2 acres and we have a lot of space. So,
and a lot of it's outdoor too, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of outdoor space and just a lot of space in general. So, as long as the weather is nice, we're not really going to feel it too much. We really don't have very much indoor space. But we're used to not having a lot of indoor space, so
That's great.
happy to have somebody back. You know?
Oh, totally. I mean, so you guys haven't been able to even be doing pickups this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just to go, and you know,
only to go beer since March. So.
okay. So you have been able to at least do to go pick up sales and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's and have you always packaged your beer, or is this something new for you guys during this whole thing too?
We've always packaged, but you know, we were fortunate that we had enough cans on hand to shift pretty quickly to doing a lot more packaging than we were used to. But you know, I guess we were fortunate in that revenue has been pretty strong. We just had to very quickly shift from draft to package.
yeah. I mean, we were set up to be a small production brewery from the get-go, so it's well within our wheelhouse to just, you know, do a lot of cans. We just hadn't had to do that many cans.
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, it is kind of nice because a lot of the breweries that I love so much like had never done any packaging before and kind of were forced to do it, and so it's just a lot more readily available, which I absolutely appreciate as a beer connoisseur and drinker. So,
Sure.
how about you, James? At Structure, what's going on over there?
Yeah, it was back in October we expanded, so we installed a canning line and fuel tanks and a whole bunch of stuff, and it all happened. Maybe we were up and running maybe about 5 weeks, 6 weeks before this all went down. So we were really fortunate in the situation. But yeah, we just been canning and doing to go, picking up, started shipping maybe four weeks ago, and I mean that's been pretty awesome actually. And then we do a lot of wholesale distro down in Seattle, really just primarily Seattle, Olympia, and Tacoma.
But you did say you're starting to mail. You can ship direct to customers.
Yeah, in Washington State, which is great. I mean, it's everybody that has supported us from day one has really been beyond kind to us and just continue to support us. It's pretty awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. So who wants to actually, a lot of people don't have their hands on this beer just yet. So can somebody give us like the tasting notes of what they can expect from this IPA?
It's so soft.
Is what?
It's so soft.
Soft. I mean, it's definitely an insanely well-balanced beer. I mean, it's I mean, obviously there's a little bit of haze to it, but it still feels very clean. What was the hop build on this?
We got the brew sheet right here because we can't remember anything.
Don't worry,
So,
you guys brew a lot of beers.
The hop bill is 2-row pilsner, spelt, and flaked oats.
That's a grain bill.
No, I said grain bill.
Same thing.
Sorry.
Another ingredient.
Should we didn't overshoot the ABV? So it's Simcoe, Azacca, Chinook, Citra, and yeah, that was it.
Awesome. You can definitely taste the Citra for sure.
Yeah, I definitely get like a lot of stone fruit and again kind of like tropical mango, but a lot of good citrus character in there too.
I think the softness really pushed like papaya for me, which I was not expecting to get out of this beer, especially with this hop combination. I would have never thought that to come out. And that was the first thing I noticed when I drank my first can. It's like, wow, it is potent.
It is a whop coming in at a whopping 7.2% ABV. I'll be buzzed after this one, that's for sure. That's when the questions start to get really interesting. For everybody that's out there, let us know what you're drinking tonight. Three-way is, I mean, everybody loves this beer and when excited when it comes out. Like, tell us what your favorite three-way IPA has been. What collaboration? Since nobody really has this one yet, we'll have to go to past history. So drop those comments into our chat, and we'll put them up here to showcase everyone. So I do have some fun questions, just because I want to know a little bit more about your ethos, who you are, why'd you guys get into this. So starting with Shane and Jason at Level Beer. Here we go. Was there one beer or producer that just like ultimately set you on the path for wanting to be in this crazy beer industry?
Boy, I'd probably have to say, well, I mean, the beer that got me into beer was Bridgeport IPA. But, you know, growing up in Portland, probably Deschutes. So I was a really big fan of Deschutes. And, you know, I ended up meeting Jason at Deschutes. We both worked there. And, yeah, just Deschutes was a big deal when I was coming up in beer.
Were you living in Bend? Or
no. We actually, when the Portland pub opened in 2007, 2008, we started down there.
Awesome. Okay, I have one more question for you, because I'm going to ask you guys all these two same questions. So if you're stranded on a desert island, what is the one beer that you would drink for the rest of your life?
Right now, I just say let's play our Pilsner, because I love it.
Okay, awesome. All right, Jason, you are up. If you need me to tell you the question.
Let's see. I guess beer wise, I'd be right there with Shane with Bridgeport IPA. So I guess I started working at Deschutes, not really planning to go into brewing. So I guess I'd be torn between Bridgeport IPA and Cindercone, because Cindercone Red was my favorite beer for ever and ever and ever. And then when I was working at Deschutes, I lived 2 blocks from Bridgeport, so I spent a lot of time at Bridgeport also. So those would be kind of the 2 beers that really set me on the path to brewing. If I had to pick a desert island beer at this point, I'd probably pick Trumer Pils.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Super light, super drinkable. I like that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's go to Dave and Mike over there. And let me switch this one up so that we're not following them. Okay. So.
Beers that got me into it was kind of a plethora. I was fortunate enough to have a family from Europe that always had European Pilsners at home. So you could name the gambit of what was available in Chicago out there. There was never a select one. So I just say European Pilsners, the bread and butter of Pilsners. But the desert island beer would probably be Gumball Head from Three Floyds. Enough hops, enough flavor, and low in alcohol.
Awesome.
So yeah, I used, before I found out about really good craft beer, I used to think like Newcastle was the best beer out there, and that's how I would drink. And my sister was really into beer. She lived in Portland, and I was going up to visit her, and she was kind enough to not laugh at that, and brought me to a pub and gave me a Doppelbock. It was either Spaten Optimator or Anger Celebrator. But that's what got me. That's what like opened my eyes to like, oh, she's beer's way better than Newcastle, or way more flavorful potentially. So yeah, that got me into beer. And I think what kind of created my real passion for beer is Cantillon or Dre Fontaine, Oud Gouze, and desert island beer would probably be Suarez family Palatine Pils. Super good Pilsner.
That's awesome. And thank you for that. Let's roll on over to you. Do you see your
The beer that got me into brewing was probably Jolly Pumpkin La Roja. That was probably it for me.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, I didn't quite hear that one.
Jolly Pumpkin La Roja. So that, I don't know, that probably would have been 12 years ago at this point. Maybe more than that. But that was kind of the turning point for me where I really wanted to pursue brewing. Yeah, and then Desert Island beer. Man, I don't even know. I would take some Clubman Grills and Waysigns any day. Just some nice, light, sessionable saison. Sounds wonderful.
Could potentially be a cold island. You never know.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah, what kind of desert are we talking about?
I'll put some bourbon with it then.
That's awesome. Okay, then does anybody have any ideas for some? I mean, what are some good food pairings for a three-way IPA? Anything you guys have been noshing on, or anything that you would suggest people pair with this?
My two cents are, I've had a lack of fried food since all this has happened, so anything fried. Fried chicken, some collard greens sounds great right now with this, because I can't eat that every day.
We used to do paired like beer dinners that were like 5 or 6 courses, and we'd have different tasters with the different courses, and we would always do Indian food and IPAs, and that was a nice pairing. And I think like the spice from the Indian food, since the pub has been closed, now it's open again, but since the pub has been closed, everybody in the brewery got accustomed to going down to the taco truck down the street and bringing back a burrito. So I think like a nice spicy burrito would be really good.
It's always good to have a spicy burrito, though.
I do love the idea of Indian food, though. I can totally see how that would just be a lovely pairing. I shall try that.
I think barbecue always pairs well with IPA. Yes, that's something I'm like. Spicy barbecue sauce. I think smoke and heat go well with that. So I like, and I think that's why Mexican food probably works too.
Especially with all those, like the stone fruit that I'm getting out of here too. Is cut it with a little bit of spice would be nice. So, okay, I've got this is a good one. Okay, we're gonna go back. We're gonna stay on structures right now. So, what was the best mistake you made in beer?
Say it again.
What was the best mistake you made in beer? So something that you were like, oh, but then it ended up you were like, oh my gosh, this works.
And most mistakes go down the drain. I don't know. Maybe man, that is a really good question. Can I ask?
Do you want me to come back to you, James?
Yeah, I gotta think on that one. That's a pass.
Okay, let's go. We're gonna go with Shane and Jason over here. Let's see if I can put you guys together. I do try my best here, you guys, but sometimes it just isn't good enough. Technology.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Level guys. Is there any fun mistakes that you guys have had in your brewery?
Well, I got one.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question very well.
Oh, I was just saying, the question is, what is the best mistake you made with a beer?
Mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say one of our brewers forgot to put in a big hop load in the whirlpool, and we ended up throwing it in the fermenter, and it turned out wonderful. So
yeah,
I guess that was pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah. We were. It was supposed to be like a hot whirlpool and a cold whirlpool, and then the cold whirlpool didn't get added, so we decided to try this whole biotransformation thing, and we just threw them in as fermenter hops. So it turned out great.
I mean, some of the funnest, experimental beers come out of mistakes, is from what I understand. So, awesome. Okay, David.
Maybe not as often as you think.
Oh, true. True. I'm throwing also some comments up just to people that are wanting to, share some love with you guys.
Matryoshka.
Oh my gosh, that for an island beer, I would be dead.
Yeah.
But that is like one of my favorite beers that you guys brew, and I think like it wins in our Best of the Northwest competition, like hands down every single time, like for its category. It
does go well with coconut. He's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what about you guys? I know you guys have been experimental.
Best first mistake was one of the shittiest days I've ever had in brewery, but we had a Cali Common lager that was called 1811, and I accidentally forgot to turn on most of the hot water while mashing in, so I started at 104 degrees and had to step it up back to 170, which turned out to be a great step mash lager and tasted amazing, but that was a 16 or 17 hour day, and also my third day ever brewing.
I never heard that one. That's good.
Yeah. Well,
so I manage our barrel program, and forgetting about barrels is a really good move. Right now we have some 3-year-old stout. We have a mixed culture peach sour that just came out on draft that has gone through like 5 different fermentations of refruiting and then forgot about. But then it tastes great because we didn't rush it, and that's a really good mistake to make with barrel aging.
What do you mean by refruiting?
So
like
we
additional fruit in it.
Yeah, so it goes through the initial primary fermentation. We do a lot of barrel fermentations with the mixed culture program, and we moved it into a tank, and it was re-fermented on peaches, but it wasn't super peachy, so we moved it out of there, put it back into barrels, and added a lot of peach puree. And then we ended up going through another fermentation on peaches because it was really good, but not enough.
But it needs more peaches.
Yeah, it needs more peaches. So then we went through a primary, first peach, second peach. Went through another peach, the third peach re-fermentation before being bottle conditioned for 5 fermentations. But that was a good one.
I think I've had that beer, so that's pretty great.
Good.
It's good to have Brad Blazer in my corner because I get all the good stuff. Is that guy around there somewhere?
He's a good guy to have around
over there.
Yeah. Hi, Brad. Thanks for all my stuff.
He's quietly waving.
Okay, we're going back to you. Do you have you just not make mistakes over there, James?
No, we make plenty of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. The key is to put them down the drain. No, I think Dave's right. I mean, mixed culture beer is like oftentimes you have like a long drawn out plan over the course of the year, and then you find out that plan was wrong, and sometimes for a positive, sometimes for a negative, and you alter it. And I don't know. There's lots of mixed culture beers that we've made over the years that have especially hoppy ones that we did not see coming to light, kind of coming to fruition and being quite nice and being good additions to what we've made. But yeah, I think mixed culture beer is more often than not a positive mistake.
Happening, yeah. With all the live organisms.
Yeah.
They're unpredictable.
It'll turn back around sometimes too. I've had some barrels where I thought, oh, this is horrible, I need to dump this. And then I just neglect dumping it and go back and reassess a couple months later. And I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. So it's
fun to be an easy brewer sometimes, man.
Yeah.
A question for you guys over at Fort George, like, just curious as far as maybe sales, like what was the most popular 3-way that you guys have done since 2013?
It's always last year's. We joked about making a beer called Last Year's Was Better. But no, I think they all sell out, and we just keep increasing the production a little bit every year.
I think popularity just comes with a name at that year. Like everybody that gets brought along or works with us, it is the best time to have that going on.
Yeah.
But I don't think of it like 3 years goes better because their beers are nowhere near the same. Like none of them are the same, and to compare them is almost ludicrous.
Neither are the consumer's palates either. I mean, everyone changes and adapts and evolves.
Sensitive do you think this mic is?
The most good as last year comment is my favorite because it's like, well, this wasn't as good as when it was a totally different beer. It's really weird way to assess it.
Oh my gosh. Well, my sister says that this is my sister, Melissa. Her favorite was the 2017 Rubens and Great Notion. But I think she's partial to both of those breweries. So, and in general. So, also Brad, aren't you there? What's in the barrels back there, you guys? You both, I think, James also had some stuff in barrels, but what do you guys have in barrels back there for Georgia Roonies?
How many?
This is just a cardboard facade.
It's a green screen.
It's a digital background of Goose Island.
We have a lot of different stuff. We have some spruce bud and gin barrels. We have some barley wine and bourbon barrels. We have a mixed culture braggot and wine barrels. We have a whole basement section underneath here that's full of Matryoshka aging in Westward whiskey, Kentucky bourbon, Jamaican rum, all sorts of stuff.
Westward, they're out of Hood River, right?
Westward is from House Spirits in Portland.
Oh, it is. Okay, I'm getting them confused with somebody else. Oh, Wanderback, I think, but.
Dry fly to our left.
Yeah, we have some stout aging in dry fly barrels. Yeah.
Which makes
Steve says Fort George Spruce Bud rocks.
Oh, good. Well, they can look forward to a gin barrel aged version too.
Nice. Also, we've got Eric Leveled Rice Lager would work too. Not quite sure what to work with. I'm looking at past comments, so I'm trying to put.
Desert Island beer.
Be a good desert island one.
Oh yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
We love it.
Look at this. This is our editor. So a lot of these people are our friends and family. Duh. Like we just beg them to come on to our, show. But this is Erin, our editor, and she's stoked to have you guys all together, a collaborative group of beer minds. So that's fun. Lindsay says mixed culture braggot. Yes, please.
Cool.
We love her. She's the total beer nerd.
It'll be out in 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm just forgetting about and letting sit.
Maybe we'll be out of quarantine by that time. We can all share a pint together. That's great. Okay, let me see if I had any more questions. So, I kind of want to know this. Like, this is such a cool culture, the beer industry. I always say, like, because we cover all beverages, but like beer is like my first true love. And so I'm just curious, like, what is the best part for you guys working in beer? Let's go with you level guys first.
The best part of working with beer, it's got to just be all the damn beer.
And access to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And brewing what you like?
No, I mean, I don't know. You get to go to a lot of cool places, I think, too. I mean, there's so many, you get so many friends in the industry. It's a really tight-knit industry, and getting to go visit a whole bunch of different places and see different things and how different people are doing it. It's all fun. And I think there's a lot of different aspects of beer that you can get into, and they're all of interest, if you get really into yeast or hops or malt or any of it. You can go far down the rabbit hole on all of them, and it can be fascinating if you're into that kind of stuff.
We're all nerds.
It happens.
I mean, I think the people in beer are also awesome.
I absolutely agree.
I guess both in terms of brewing and just the people that we work with, where I don't know if anybody has noticed.
No, they have.
he's
Someone has
behind
a
me
lot of
like
chairs to move.
25 times. So
Someone has a lot of chairs to move.
turns out
That deck holds 4 chairs.
well, I'll say turns out 2 of our brewers are just moving chairs in a circle behind me right now and make me laugh. So
Hi, James.
so yeah. Hey, look, this is not a very
Hey!
on. Yeah. So they've just been walking in a circle.
No one to know who is in love with your chair guy.
So yeah, I would say the people. I feel like the people in beer are awesome. You know,
Yeah.
both in terms of creative minds, but also in terms of, you know, good senses of humor and just the kind of people that you want to work around every day, the people that you want to be surrounded by every day. You know. It's just, yeah.
Well, they seem like a pretty fun
Like from right
group to
there.
be around, so that's awesome.
There's no quit.
It's coming back around again.
Are they just the same around? That's amazing. James, I want to see how many times they can use these 4 chairs at this point.
You mind putting that in the comments?
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's head over to James over at Structure.
No, I mean,
Tell us, what's your favorite? I mean, where did you actually get started? Because, I mean, just popped up this lovely brewery in Bellingham. Like, what got you into this?
Wait, what got me into beer?
Well, where were you at before Structures?
Oh, directly before this, I was out in Vermont at a brewery called Otter Creek, which is a large regional brewery out there. It was a good time out there. I had a good boss, and we were in the midst of rebranding the company. So there's a lot of myself and a couple of friends who are part of kind of reinventing the spot. Recipe-wise, that was good. And then I was the head brewer at a production facility in Pittsburgh. And then I worked for another little brew pub in Pittsburgh before that. And then before that, I was actually did a really short stint at Fish down in Olympia.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what is the best part about working in beer for you?
Oh, relationships for sure. I mean, to be able to text an old boss or friend or whatever during a day of troubleshooting and hardship and get an answer and have your day resolved is like probably one of the greatest feelings in the world. And to be able to reciprocate that is also equally as good of a feeling.
It is honestly a great community to be part of. So I agree. Okay, Dave and Mike, back to you.
I would double down on James. Even the people you don't know, I've cold called a lot of breweries because I thought their beer was amazing. Like, what did you do to make this awesome? And 99.9% of the time, they give you all the answers to everything they did. There's like no closed doors. Every once in a while, they'll say it's a trademark issue, and I just don't call them back ever. But for the most part, it's pretty good.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, so this is obviously a little bit different about being able to get this beer right now. So how can everybody get it? I know that this is for the first time that they'll be shipping direct to consumers in Washington and Oregon. And then is it available at all of your breweries? It is available at all of your breweries.
We are almost out, but it is currently.
Okay. I mean, you haven't opened yet, so what are you going to do about tomorrow?
Yeah. We've got a weekend's worth of drafting cans left. So.
Great. Cool.
We had a couple of issues with direct shipment with Washington. We had a yes from the Washington Department of Alcohol and whatever. What is the Washington Department? Cannabis and Liquor Board. And Cannabis and Liquor Board, that one. So we're working on that, and it should be available hopefully July 1st, but there's no guarantees into that. And I don't know, James, were you able to figure that out on your side?
Yeah, we're in the midst of figuring that out. Yeah, we hopefully we'll be able to sell cans in the tap room soon. But I don't want to go into it. But yeah, hopefully soon. Yeah.
But will one of your websites have a list of areas that everybody can go onto and find how to purchase this beer when it's officially? When is it officially out?
So it's officially out now. We're selling it out of our pub, and we've shipped out in Oregon.
Okay.
This week.
Yeah.
First week. Washington is next week. So it'll be Pacific Northwest wide. I believe Idaho at that point too.
Yeah, by the end of the month, it can be found in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. And
yeah. And if you want to find it, there's the FortGeorge.com beer finder.
Yeah.
Brad?
Yeah.
Cool.
But make sure to give a phone call before you drive to get it, because there's some places I only get a case. And I would feel bad personally, Brad.
Allocation.
Yeah, it's a weird world.
Hopefully Chuck Pop Shop gets some up where I live, so that would be really good. Because I'm already out of the 8 beers that he sent me. What happened? That was yesterday.
Slow it down, Kristin. Slow it down.
You know, I just like to. Beer is meant to be shared, right? So I got to give it to my friends that were all awaiting this release. So, yeah, awesome. Well, I think we are, getting pretty wrapped up here, just because we usually keep people's attention spans for about 30 minutes. So I just want to thank all of you guys for joining us tonight. It was really fun, and I'm excited for everybody to try this beer. It's a great beer. It is definitely one of my favorites, I would say, in the last 4 years. So it's just definitely my palate, my preference. So cheers to all of you guys.
Cheers. Yeah. Virtual cheers.
Breweries, everyone. So thank you guys so much. Have a great night, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice seeing you.
Also, I didn't want to end the broadcast without mentioning the huge loss that our beer community has just found out about. Roseanne Finkel of Pike Brewing, who is a dear friend and an icon in the industry and colleague, passed away at home on Tuesday. With her family by her side. So anyway, we just give our love to Charles Finkel and the rest of the Pike Brewing community, and she's going to be dearly, dearly lost. So thank you guys. Have a great night.